on, guys? It's your boy Scare Soldier back with another Borderlands 3 video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about our Zane melee build. So let's just get right into it. So pretty much the only piece of gear in terms of weapons you need is a face puncher. Pretty much all the shots count as melee damage, and the anointment you're going to want is either Sentinel Cryo or, again, on action skill end, next to max is going to be the best two anointments. Now, the best version of the phase puncher is going to be the redundant one, but unfortunately I couldn't get one to drop, but that's all right. This one is going to be good as well. But what the redundant one looks like is this one right over here. So times 14 is going to be the best version. Now, moving on, for the shield, you're going to want to have a brawler ward. Now, you don't need a level 1. This is the one I got from one of my friends, but actually the one you want is level 65 because it doesn't matter, but the more capacity, it doesn't change anything, because really you want this for the effects. So you get 25% weapon damage while depleted. You also get 300% melee damage while shield is depleted, and also you're getting some max health regen, whatever, but your shields are never active, so this doesn't even apply. So the main thing here is the 300% melee damage and also the 25% weapon damage. This is huge. So how we're going to get that to be active all the time is with the infiltrator. The infiltrator, just by activating your action skill, is going to break your shield automatically to 0, and that is going to give you the effect of the brawler ward all the time. Whenever you want it, it's going to be available, which is very, very nice. And if you guys look as well at the recharge delay on a brawler ward, for example, it has a 7.6 recharge delay, which is extremely slow. So it should stay at the, once you break your shield, it should stay at 0 for a long time, giving you that bonus all the time. Really, really powerful stuff. So the anointment you want on the brawler ward is either on action skill and melee damage is increased by 100%, or also the on action skill and gain 50% bonus elemental damage is also very, very powerful. Moving on the grenade, you just want action skill end. That's pretty much all you really need. It doesn't matter what grenade you have. Make sure you have an infiltrator. Now, for the rolls on the infiltrator, I highly recommend you look for something that gives you melee damage, something that gives you Hyperion critical hit damage, and also shotgun damage are going to be some of the best rolls to get on your infiltrator. Now, moving on, for the artifacts, there's going to be 2 artifacts you're going to be wanting to look for. So the first one is going to be called the stone. So any prefix that says stone, so fire stone, cryo stone, radio stone, those are just going to be different elements. But the stone is going to be the best one for this because you gain 80% elemental damage when you melee an enemy, and the face puncher's shots are all count as melee. So you're basically giving your face puncher an element of 80% extra damage of what it does, which is very, very powerful. Now, for Grave Ward and bigger bosses, I highly suggest you guys look for the White Elephant. The White Elephant is extremely powerful. Those sticky grenades that get attached to the enemy do a ton of damage, which is how I killed Grave Ward so quickly in the previous clips. And then for normal mobbing, what's really good is the Planetoid. The Planetoid is absolutely really, really nice for this build. It gives you an extra couple million damage added to what you're already doing. So to get as much damage as possible on normal enemies, this is going to be extremely powerful. So look for the stone with Planetoid prefixes, giving you more bonus elemental damage whenever you do a melee. So those are your 2 options right there. And again, for the rolls, you want melee damage, you want things like shotgun damage, and also some sort of elemental damage are going to be the best rolls. Now, here is a skill tree real quick, guys. So basically, the way this works, and I don't know what it is, but your weapon damage doesn't count for salvation. So whatever the case is, I don't know if it's meant to be, but the face puncher doesn't proc salvation. So you don't get any health steal for any of the hits you trigger with your face puncher. So with that being said, you have to actually, for sustainability, first of all, it's all about killing enemies faster than they can kill you. And secondly, how we got some more survivability was 2 things. So one, we stuck with health regeneration. So the amount of health regeneration we're getting is quite nuts, actually. I'm going to have a clip roll up in a second, a little later on. But the amount of health regeneration is quite nasty with the Rise to the Occasion. You're getting 5% max health a second, which is a lot. If you guys are familiar with Donnybrook, I believe, got up to quite a bit when you got it maxed out, and it kind of feels like Donnybrook, the amount of health regeneration you have. Plus, don't forget, we're also getting some Renegade, which is also giving us a little more health regeneration. So we basically almost have 7% health regen per second. So that's the best way to keep us alive. And also, you have access to the all-rounder as well if you guys don't feel comfortable running without it, but you do have access to the all-rounder like this. And that's pretty much it. We also grabbed Hardy Stock instead of Ready for Action because we want our cooldown rate to be as crappy as possible because we want our shield to stay busted. That's the way we get our melee damage to be at 300%, so it has to be depleted. So we don't want a fast recharge delay or rate. We want it as slow as possible. That's why I also recommend you guys turn off your emergency response and your guardian ranks as well. Disable this because it's going to improve your shield recharge delay and rate, and like I said, you want this as poor as possible. So that's pretty much the green tree real quick, and then we just spec'd into the purple tree, giving us a ton of critical hit damage, giving us obviously commitment such as strong perk that can stack unlimitedly, and we have a ton of other just good stuff in the purple tree that's going to make us hit extremely hard. And then finally we have the blue tree giving us some DPS. Now I'm going to talk about this real quick. As I mentioned before, salvation doesn't work with the face puncher, unfortunately, but again, playing dirty also doesn't work with well, it doesn't work as it's advertised much with weapons that have a lot of projectiles. So single projectile weapons are going to take advantage of playing dirty, but weapons that have multiple projectiles will not take a full advantage of playing dirty. So for the face puncher times 14, you're not going to get times 28 with the playing dirty. You're actually only get one of those projectiles are going to double, I think, but not all 14 are going to double. It does not work that way. So playing dirty in this case is not worth having. So that's pretty much it. We went to the capstone and hitman tree, picked up some reload speed because the face puncher has a slow reload time, and we also picked up cold bore because if you want to just destroy bosses even more so, but just by swapping back and forth to your face puncher, you're going to be getting 200% bonus cryo damage on your first shot, which is insane. So just with all the other damage we're doing on top of that, it just makes one shots incredible. So that's pretty much the whole setup over there, guys. We're going to show you some gameplay of this beastly build, and let's get right into it. Guys, so this is just a quick example of the health regen, so just pay attention to my health bar. This is as much as I was able to get, so we have close to about 7% health regen a second, and it's pretty much a good amount. Obviously, it's not something to rely on, but at least our health is not stagnant. If we take damage, it doesn't move. So now at least we can get some health back, and that's also a good way. Or you can throw an all-rounder, but again, I did the whole Maliwan takedown with this. We're over at the Maliwan takedown, guys, where it goes down, and we're going to be one-punching a ton of enemies with this setup. We're doing a whole lot of damage with the build, which is why I love it so much, and it's not super complicated. You can literally make this build very, very quickly by farming a couple of enemies, and you guys are good to go. Now, in this footage you guys are watching, I did not have Rise to the Occasion or Renegade active in my perks because I only learned that after this gameplay footage that salvation was not working, unfortunately. So with that being said, why we had to get some health regeneration was because whenever we took damage, we would not be able to get back that health that we lost, and we would literally be stuck at like some of the points you're going to see I'm like stuck at like a couple thousand health, and it's like, damn, it's not going back up unless I pick up a health vial. So that was not viable because this is supposed to be a cool build that many people can use, and if survivability is one of the biggest downfalls of the build, then people are not going to want to use it. Although I did make it through the takedown, it's not going to be for everybody. So this way, with having Rise to the Occasion and also Renegade, you're going to be able to maintain your health very, very well. And also you have the option to go in the green tree and pick up all-rounder because we are spec'd into the green tree as well. So you guys can protect yourself situationally. Although your action skills are not infinitely active since we are not using the Seeing Dead and we're not using Calm, Cool, and Collected, we are going to be having some downtime of our action skills, but that really doesn't matter too much because the build is not necessarily entirely dependent on your action skills, aside from your Mantis creating all those action skill ends for you to use. So that brings me to my next point. For the anointment you actually want on your face puncher at the minute, because I heard that the Sentinel Cryo anointment is a little bit bugged right now. So what you want is actually on action skill end, your next two mags will deal 100% elemental damage. That is going to be your best bet because that is going to be the anointment that is the safest to use. And that's pretty much it. Now, I would love to use the URAD anointment on this build with the all-rounder, but unfortunately, you need a front loader to get yourself under the 50% threshold. So unfortunately, that's pretty much it. And also with the Brawler Ward, I mean, we're getting 300% melee damage, which is insane, and the face puncher is a melee weapon. So we definitely want that 300% bonus, of course, and that is one of the reasons why we're doing so much damage. Now, in comparison between the two artifacts with the white elephant and the planetoid, I would say still rock both of them. The white elephant situationally is a lot better than the planetoid in some circumstances and can do a lot more damage against big bosses with big critical hit spots or just a big target in general. Those grenades do a significant amount of damage, and the planetoid is actually really, really good too. It's just the only thing with the planetoid is that you cannot control the element it does because it's random, but again, it's extra millions of damage of some sort of elemental damage. It can give you like 4 or 5 million extra damage, but that's pretty much that. Give this build a try, guys. It's really, really fun. It's pretty much a melee Zen build. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one. It's your boy Scared Soldier signing out. Peace.
They be singing songs about that one.